We have made it to Friday. Certainly a bit of good news there. Of course, we had those thunderstorms that came through last night. Some severe weather in our northern towns, just pretty rumbly and awfully rainy in other spots. Good news is I'm happy to say that we have quiet weather coming up this weekend. Cool, yes, some areas of frost, even a freeze coming up, but at least we don't have any significantly active weather. Let's check out how things are looking right now. As we see on live radar, there is really nothing happening in our neck of the woods. Those areas of rain have since moved well off to our south. We're actually starting to see some sunshine peek through as well. Here's a check of that satellite picture over the past hour or so, as we do see those clouds rolling off toward the south and east. Those breaks showing up north of I-70 at this point, and those thick clouds, you can say goodbye to those. Now, there are still going to be some of those fair weather clouds hanging around. We still see some of those in our northwestern towns up around Kenton and Marion. So again, with the sunshine coming up for today, don't be fooled. It is still going to be cool out there with those temperatures in the 40s. Backing off that view a little bit further, you can again see there are still some clouds around in northern Ohio where we have the clearing skies taking place. But again, it is going to be a bit of a brighter afternoon compared to what we have had so far today. Wanted to talk about those storm reports as we had those severe thunderstorms across the northern part of our area. Again, Columbus proper and south of I-70, general thunderstorms with heavy rain, but there we see those icons indicating wind damage with the little tree there, and then also some areas of hail reported. Had a couple of those around Coshocton, an inch-and-a-half hail report last night as these rolled off toward the south and east. Had a couple of tornado warnings, and the National Weather Service does have a couple of survey crews out looking at some of the damage. They'll assess whether there were any brief tornadoes or if it was all straight-line wind damage. In any case, we certainly did have some issues last night. Here's a check of the rainfall totals from the area airports. Officially at Columbus, we had 1.75 inches. Meanwhile, at OSU Airport, a little over 2 inches. Many spots in that 1 to 2 inch range. As we look at some of the other numbers here, again, quite a few spots higher. Although as you head farther south, Athens only a 1/2 inch of rain. Washington Courthouse officially coming in with about a 1/2 inch as well. But a lot of spots certainly dealt with quite a bit of heavy rain, and some of those creeks and streams did come up. Most of those have already crested and are on their way back down. As far as compared to what we were at this time yesterday, so 2 p.m. on Thursday to 2 p.m. on Friday, we're a good 30-plus degrees colder across much of the state. In fact, some spots nearly 40 degrees colder. Here's how that looks as we had highs yesterday of 79 degrees. That was one shy of tying the record high of 80. You can easily see where that cold front hit. Just about 10 o'clock, there it came, big drop in temperatures, and since then we've had cool weather, 30s throughout most of the morning, but this afternoon we have risen back up once again. As far as what the weather impact is, of course, it is going to be cool for this afternoon and for tomorrow with highs only in the 40s. We have a couple of frosty mornings ahead of us as well, especially tomorrow morning. I think a hard freeze is going to be likely for a lot of us with those lows near or below 28 degrees. Next week, I don't want to say it's going to be an active weather pattern, but there are numerous shower and thunderstorm chances in our extended forecast. However, it looks like Wednesday morning at this point looks to be the most likely time of seeing some of that activity. As far as low temperatures for tomorrow morning, again, I want to highlight that it is going to be a cold morning. If you have those sensitive plants that have already greened up, you want to make sure you protect them, cover them with a light blanket or a light sheet, and take that off by mid-morning because the sun is going to be out and it would warm them up pretty quickly thereafter. But there you see readings generally in the mid to upper 20s area-wide for tomorrow morning, so do keep that in mind. We will have a nice rebound, though, coming up for the afternoon. Even with those 40s, that March sunshine, it feels nice, so we can at least be thankful for that. I did mention occasional rain chances next week. Now again, rest of today, Saturday, Sunday, goose eggs there, no worries whatsoever. Monday and Tuesday, as that warmer air starts to come back our direction, there could be a stray shower here or there. That's pretty common this time of year when you get that warmer air to push back in. However, I don't think there's going to be a lot of activity at this point. It's mainly Wednesday. Looks like a cold front comes through probably in the first part of the day. Would be the prime time for some areas of rain and thunderstorms. Even after that, some lingering rain chances are here to finish out next week. Looking outside right now, though, it is nice to see the sunshine breaking through finally. I was getting a little nervous, hoping we would see some breaks, and here it is as we have seen that blue sky begin to return. Still, though, it is still cool. 37 yet at 2 o'clock in Delaware and Chillicothe, 36 Marysville, 38 Lancaster. Columbus officially we're back up to 41 degrees. Now, Anytime we have that sunshine this time of year, we get a nice little jump in temperature, so I do expect 40s to return area-wide. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. Again, some scattered clouds to persist. This evening, though, as that drier air filters in, we continue to clear off. Here, 6 p.m. Should see a mostly clear sky by that point. Any of those fair weather bubbly clouds that are around ought to dissipate as the sun gets lower later on this evening. Overnight, mainly clear skies. Tomorrow morning, we'll pause here at 8 a.m. Looking pretty good out there, and there's not much to see on your hour-by-hour throughout the day tomorrow. A mainly sunny skies on the way. Should be a delightful looking day. Again, highs are in the 40s, so you still want the nice warm jacket if you're out and about, but that sunshine does make a big difference. Going into Sunday, again, we start off with a mostly clear sky. Here's 8 a.m. Now, throughout the afternoon, I expect some high, thin clouds to work back overhead as those weak disturbances and warmer air start to work their way our direction. However, we still have a dry day on Sunday. It's not until Monday, perhaps, that we see perhaps a spotty shower. So we'll continue to see partial clearing the rest of the day, right around 44 degrees. Winds are from the north at 10 to 20, though. So even though it's not quite as blustery as yesterday, those wind chills are going to be staying in the 30s for the afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear skies down to 27 for a low. Wouldn't be surprised if some of the outlying areas are a couple degrees cooler than 27 in Columbus. Here's that 7-day forecast. Again, a nice looking weekend. 46 on Saturday with that mainly sunny sky. 32 on Sunday morning. We will see a high near 60 in the afternoon, so those temperatures do climb just a bit. 70 is your high on Monday with the off chance of a shower. Looks like Tuesday is our warmest day next week. Still looking at a chance of a shower that day. And then those overnight lows stay pretty warm right into Wednesday, but then that cold front should come through on Wednesday, bringing a somewhat better chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms. We may end up raising our rain chance for that day as the details of the timing become a little bit more certain. Then beyond that, we do see those temperatures cooling off just a little bit. Not as stark of a cold front as we've had around here the past couple of times. We'll still see highs back in the 60s probably in the back half of next week. Overall, though, nice to see that quieter weather coming up over the next couple of days, especially after we've had a few rounds of thunderstorms that have produced some power outages. And that weather like we've had so far this spring does mean that many people are looking for ways to get their homes ready for potential power outages after damaging storms move through. But when it comes to getting your home a generator, there is a wait list. Eco Plumbing, electrician, HVAC technicians say right now bookings for generator installations are about 3 to 7 days out because of the increased business they're seeing with the recent storms. They say people are also getting generators because of concerns over the power grid.
With, all the buildings that are going up commercial-wise with Intel and all that, I mean, the power grid's changing. So people just don't want to deal with it, especially people with health problems, have machines.
Yeah, home businesses are a big thing right now. So if you're running your business from home, then your power goes out, you lose your business that day. So
yeah, we had a guy that has a polishing business, and he was actually out of power for 5 days, lost over $250,000 within them days.
And if you are using a generator to power your home, make sure you're not overloading it. Keep the generator outside and dry under a cover or a tarp. Do not put it in the garage and keep it away from windows and vents to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning. Now, speaking of the need for generators, while we are drying up from last night's storms, many people woke up to damage this morning. 10 TV's Kristen McFarland is in Mount Gilead, where a tree fell in the middle of a road, blocking traffic.
Storms made their mark here in Mount Gilead as we are seeing down trees and power lines. Take a look at this large tree here. The massive roots uprooted, falling down into the road, closing this street.
The shutters were flying off our house, and we were looking, and we're like, what's going on?
Many people around central Ohio woke up to the loud sounds of thunder, downpouring rain, and strong winds.
First, it was a really, really high winds, and then the hail started to come, and we got the tornado alarm on our phone.
In Mount Gilead, downed trees, power lines, and debris are scattered around the village. For some, this detoured their morning commute.
Nothing really bad happened in our yard, but as we were driving here today, there's a whole bunch of trees down, broken half, hanging in their people's yards everywhere.
Cleanup efforts are expected to continue as crews work to clear debris. Reporting in Mount Gilead, Kristen McFarland, 10 TV News.
And as I mentioned, the National Weather Service does have a couple of crews out today looking at some of that damage. If you have damage from these storms, here's what you need to know today to address any storm damage to your home or property. Universal Builders tells us contractors can assess your home from top to bottom. That includes windows, siding, gutters, and most importantly, your shingles. Your roof can take a lot of hits with all the rain and wind and recent hail we've had. No matter what, if you do notice any damage, get it checked out sooner rather than later. Experts say waiting too long can affect how much you pay out of pocket.
From the date of loss, you only have a year to file the claim. So, I mean, we're getting calls a year after. I have leaks and stuff, and we're out there to the property, and it has some sort of storm-related damages that they didn't address with their insurance company.
Our coverage of storms doesn't stop here. We'll have updates on the impacts from last night's weather later on this evening on 10 TV and on 10 TV Plus. Be sure you also have our free 10 TV News app, and we'll send any weather alerts right to your phone. All right, well, it doesn't feel much like spring today. It certainly did yesterday, and the impacts from our warming temperatures are only going to keep on growing. One of those impacts might be seeing more eight-legged creatures around your home, but there is a reason why. With the weather whiplash we've had and unusually warm temperatures, spiders are becoming more active earlier than usual this year. Nearly 40% of Americans experience some level of anxiety around spiders, so maybe turn away right now. Ashley Bryn with PETA totally understands why you might be scared of spiders, since they kind of look like aliens, but intimidating webs, and some of them are poisonous, but she says the majority may look a little intimidating, but actually pose no risk to humans and actually serve a purpose.
You don't need to love them. You don't need to cuddle with them. You shouldn't. They don't want to. You just need to respect them. They eat thousands of other insects a year. They can act as pollinators. And really, they are much more frightened of us than we are of them.
If you find a spider in your home, don't kill it. Just put a cup over it, slide a piece of paper underneath so you can safely carry it outside and let it go. Let it do its thing, eating those bugs. Now, in another sure sign of spring that spring is here, the cherry blossoms in Washington, D.C. are finally officially in peak bloom. The National Park Service says the trees hit the final stage on Thursday, which is about 3 days earlier than the agency predicted it would arrive this year.
I like to get them with the memorial in the background or with the Washington Monument in the background, and it just makes a beautiful picture.
This is actually my first time, so I'm genuinely excited and just seeing the area, and I love just being in DC. It's very airy and nice weather going on right now.
It's just the kind of the welcoming moment of spring. Finally, temperatures are warming up. We're seeing nature kind of turn around, and it's a beautiful thing to experience and be a part of.
Yeah, I see a lot of people there walking along the tidal basin and enjoying those cherry blossoms. Now, the peak bloom date is defined as the day when 70% of the blossoms are open. They typically bloom for a period of several days. Of course, those blooms are a telltale sign that spring and allergy season have arrived. And in some places, allergy season has actually started earlier than usual. CBS's Skylar Henry has tips for getting through the season of sneezing.
A record warm winter combined with dry conditions has created the perfect storm for an explosive allergy season.
Definitely noticed when I'm helping customers, some of them are a little bit sneezy or sniffly, and unfortunately that's just the environment that we're in.
A report by the Asthma and Allergy Foundation ranked the worst cities for allergies. The most severe? Boise, Idaho.
Are all types of pollen created equal?
Yeah, that's a good question. No. And especially in the Atlanta area, because our tree canopy is so big, spring is very difficult.
In Atlanta, ear, nose, and throat doctor Tim Ryan says his phones have already started ringing with wary patients.
Most people wait to start to treat their allergy till it's too late. You wait for a high pollen count day and then you start on your medication. So you really want to start treatment early.
Doctors also recommend taking frequent showers when coming in from outside, keeping windows closed, using HEPA filters on high pollen count days, and don't rub those eyes.
Is there a point where, as perhaps we get older, where it's like, no, you're more susceptible to these sorts of things?
So we're seeing increases in allergy development later on in life. And we think that that has a lot to do with what we talked about before, the tree canopy and the longer growing seasons. So as we move along in our age, we can develop more and more symptoms.
I'm Skylar Henry in Atlanta.
I want to sneeze just looking at that video. Now, finally today, let's check out some new video here into 10 TV. Believe it or not, yet another fireball meteor has been sighted over the U.S. this week once again. Could be seen here in Ohio. These images are from early Thursday morning when yet another bright meteor was seen streaking across our skies. This event generating at least 30 eyewitness reports to the American Meteor Society. Now, when speaking on the recent uptick, the Society said, quote, the number of large fireball events, or those seen by 50-plus witnesses, has roughly doubled in the first quarter of 2026 compared to the 5-year average, but the total number of fireballs is about normal, so it's not that more rocks are hitting us, it's just that more of them are big enough to notice, end quote. They also added they remain unsure if this is a larger change in the near-Earth meteoroid environment, but they don't believe this is any evidence of a larger impact threat. All right, one final story. This one also focused on space. On Friday morning, well-wishers gathered with signs outside Ellington Field in Houston to say goodbye to the Artemis II crew before they fly to Florida. The Artemis II mission, the first crewed mission as part of NASA's plans to return humans to the moon and eventually Mars, is set to launch in early April with a crew of 4 and last for around 10 days. Exciting times with that. Always cool to see the space activity starting to pick up once again. And as I mentioned, once more, we have a quiet weekend ahead of us. Just cool. We have 40s on the way for tomorrow, up near 60 coming up for your Sunday. Some frosty conditions are on the way. Now, that's it for your weather update here on 10 TV Plus. Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer will be in at 4 o'clock with all your latest weather updates to keep you ready for a nice weekend.